Today, on Be Something Wonderful, thought transmission to manifest anyone and anything, anytime. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. I have a big video for you today. The whole question came up about thought transmission, specifically as talked about by Neville Goddard. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. And it was based on a conversation that I had with one of you where I was telling a story of another one of you that sent me an email that manifested after 5 years of no contact with their specific person. Thought into that one divine mind, right? And created that person reaching out. Not only that, but also playing the song that the song that they shared together, him even playing that song. So I'm going to go into that. That's actually a membership video that's in the works. So you're going to see more of that. But I want to go into this idea of thought transmission and what it really means, what we're really talking about here. Remember, your thoughts don't go anywhere. Everything is here and now. Thoughts do not travel. That's an idea. That's a linear idea of distance, of here and there and then and now, right? You don't go anywhere, right? Your thoughts don't go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. Everything is everywhere all at once, right? Just like the movie. It's on this unbroken unity, this one idea, one unity and connection with everyone and everything, here and now, that all manifesting and reality creation ideas are built on this idea of this unbroken connection, this unbroken unity, this unbroken oneness of reality that we call God. All of that, here and now, everything, everywhere, all at once, all manifesting and reality creation ideas are built on this one idea, right? Based on one law, the law of one. The law of being, but the law of one. The law of one God, one reality, one mind, one thought that we have infinite perspectives or viewpoints of that we call thoughts. It's powerful. One divine mind where every time you think, you are thinking into it. Every time you assume something, you're assuming into it. So let's start there today. Remember, the one, the great I am, that one self-conscious mind that we call God, that's the oneness of reality. This one self-knowing mind with the one thought of unconditional existence. Think about this. I am. The great I am. When God said to Moses, I am that I am who I am. That's my name forever and ever. That's a statement of that one thought of love, because it can only be love, that you exist and will always exist. How can it be more loving and worthy than that? Right? That one thought of unconditional existence, that you exist, I am. One thought of absolute unconditional love and worthiness and fulfillment. Everything comes from that one idea. All notions of non-fulfillment, all notions of lack or unworthiness, all notions of things that are unlike love come from that one idea that I am all love, I am all worthiness, I am all fulfillment. It comes from the law of one. We're going to start there. There we go. And you are the center of that. That I am, you, your conscious mind. Your conscious awareness, when you say I am, when you're aware of yourself and you say I am, you are invoking that one power, the law of one, that the entirety of that, what we call the subconscious mind, but really it's just one mind. You're invoking all power, all knowing, all reality is within you when you say those words. That's why Scripture said, just say the word. In the beginning, there was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's what that means. You're the center of all of that. We're going to get back to this. I am that I am who I am. One subjective universal mind of which you, I am. Your self-conscious, self-knowing, self-aware mind is the center. When you say I am, you're knowing yourself as existence itself. as that unconditional existence. Your thoughts are infinite viewpoints or perspectives or vantage points of that one thought, of that one mind of God, that one divine mind. They're just infinite perspectives, all those infinite assumptions and perspectives. Your dominant thoughts and assumptions, or in other words, your persistent identity as that center of the one divine mind, your persistent identity, creates your physical objective experience of that one great I am. That subjective, universal, all-powerful, all-knowing divine mind. Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's reality creation. That's it. Class over. Okay? Your dominant thoughts and assumptions, right? Your persistent identity as I am creates all of it. Or your experience of that one divine mind, right? You create that physical experience of it. So let's continue with this. And so here you are, but it's our view, right? What's your view as I am awareness, right? Because you frame your entire life experience, your entire horizontal linear experience. You're always in the center. You're always in the vertical. But you frame it about who you are aware of being. Who and what you're conscious of being determines what part, what perspective of all that is that you're going to experience. And the narrower and the more puny your view, the smaller your frame, the smaller your perception, the smaller your seeing, the smaller your viewpoint, the more you feel lack and unworthiness and unloved. Because of your perspective, you're framing yourself wrong. You got it all wrong. I remembered it wrong. Somehow I was wrong about everything, like the movie Solaris. You're all of this, and the more you expand that frame or that awareness of who you are, the more you know yourself as all that is. Do you see it? You as the center. Yes, you're having that physical experience, but the more you're aware of who all you are, past, present, and future, you create all of it. Your conscious, self-aware I am awareness, your dominant thoughts and assumptions about self, they frame or form, hear this, they frame or form the objective physical versions of the people, events, and things you experience in your reality. They frame or form the different versions of people, events, and experiences that you have. So you're not sending thought anywhere, you're thinking into it. You're assuming into it as that one center. And the more aware you are of yourself, the broader your perspective. The more you know, the more you expand, the more you realize the different versions, the more ideal versions of you and everybody else in the world. So I want to say it again, your conscious, self-aware I am, dominant thoughts and assumptions about self, they frame or form your objective physical versions of the people, events, and things you experience as your reality, past, present, and future, all from this present identity, all from this present moment. You create it all. It's all formed now, here and now. Wow, that's powerful. So the great subconscious, or the subjective mind, I wanted you to really hear this. It doesn't accept or reject anything because it is everything, everywhere, all at once. It's everything, everywhere, all at once. It doesn't accept or reject anything because it is everything. The question is, what are you assuming? What are you accepting and rejecting? Are you consciously choosing and imagining and affirming your reality, or is there something or someone else is? And what is that something or someone else? It's all of those different perspectives that you're allowing yourself to define yourself as that you are, a puny, narrow perspective of who you are. You're framing or forming a partial and a small view of yourself as you allow others in the world and what you call subjective or subconscious thoughts in the past to determine who you are. You create it all from this current moment. So the great subconscious of the subjective mind doesn't accept or reject anything. It is everything, everywhere, all at once. And neither are the others of the world And neither are others or the world accepting, rejecting, or denying your thoughts and assumptions about them. Wow. Do you see if that question came up? When I think about something, if they don't accept my thought or my assumption of them, Neville Goddard talks about it rebounding and all that. We're going to talk about all these ideas today. But remember, it's not about them accepting, rejecting, or denying anything. It's about you thinking into that one divine mind and creating your entire horizontal linear experience based on your assumptions about who you are. All versions of others are simply versions based on who you're being. There's not one version of you. There's not one version of the world. There's not one version of reality or others. You create it all by who you're being. So there's no accepting or rejecting going on anywhere except what you're consciously accepting or rejecting as who you are in others in the world. That's all that's going on. Remember, it's not about impressing your subconscious mind. It's not about impressing the subjective subconscious mind, the subjective mind, impressing your subjective mind, or impressing the subconscious or subjective mind, or impressing the subconscious or subjective mind of others. It's none of that. It's not about sending thoughts. It's not about influencing minds of others. It's about thinking into that one mind that is everything, everywhere, all at once, and determining who you are as that center of that mind. There's only one divine, subjective, universal, subconscious mind. I am. Right? Remember I talked about that in other videos. I used that quote from Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello. And you had God at hello. And I think one of you said, you had God at I am. You had God at I am. Right? It's already impressed. God's already impressed with you as everything, everywhere, all at once. So it's about what are you consciously accepting and rejecting? What are you allowing to direct your life, to direct who you are? Right? Where's your gaze? Is it inward or outward? Right? So let's talk about this. No one and nobody can create in your reality. What others accept and assume or reject and deny as true of you is irrelevant. She thought, maybe other people are influencing me. And how do I control that? And what happens? Remember, no one can affect your free will. It wouldn't be free will. We're going to talk about this idea, right? No one and nobody can create in your reality. What others accept and assume or reject and deny as true of you is irrelevant, because you're the only one that determines what others accept, assume, reject, and deny as true of you. Because what you accept as true of you, others do, because you create the version of your world, the version of others in your world. It's not that they don't exist, their existence, they're all that is. But you create your versions of the world in them to interact with from who you're being. So what they think or assume or reject, it does nothing. It means nothing, right? As Jesus said in that scene from the Pool of Bethesda. In the show The Chosen. Unless you accept and assume it is true of you, unless you accept and assume it's true of you, you're the operant power, you're the center of your reality. You determine what is acceptable to you. But in your non-acceptance, you create a reality that you don't accept. You create a reality that's unwanted. You create a reality that you say is undesired and unwanted. Instead, accept yourself as that center of the divine mind and then determine who you are. Right? Whether it's about you or others, your thoughts and assumptions, it's all about you. It's all about I am. Therefore, the bigger and the more loving and more spiritual your thoughts and assumptions about yourself and others in the world, the bigger and more unlimited and loving your experience of reality will be. Do you see this? We showed this, right? The bigger and more spiritual, because this is all love. So the more you're aware of yourself as that love, as that center, the bigger and more spiritual, more loving your experience will be. Right? You frame and form all of it. That's powerful. So let's continue. The more you assume, imagine, and affirm and see yourself and others and the 3D world as you would like it to be, not as it appears to be. The one mind, from that one great divine mind, the great I am, you'll perceive and experience, right? So the more you assume, imagine, and affirm and see yourself and others as you would like them to be, the more of that great I am you'll perceive and experience. The more of that one divine mind you will perceive and experience. I want to show this. You see it? The more you see it like you want to see it, imagine like you want to imagine it, affirm it like you want to see it, see yourself and others in that ideal, then the more of that great divine mind, that great I am, you'll perceive and experience. The more aware you are of the real you as the center of God consciousness, the more positive you will be, regardless of the changing temporary thoughts and feelings. That's what the true measure of positivity really means. It's not about trying to hold positive thoughts and trying to hold positive feelings. It's about knowing yourself as source, knowing yourself as the center of the divine mind. It's not about holding on to anything. It's about knowing yourself as that center. That is the true meaning of positivity, not necessarily positive thoughts and feelings, but you may have many of those, but the positive beingness of I am who that I am. I am that who I am. I am who I am. I am that I am. Assume and imagine yourself to be the one and only center of your reality. And that will be your experience. That's powerful. So, you don't influence the thought or free will of others. You don't impress your subjective ideas and assumptions on others. You shift to a version of you in reality that reflects versions of others that match your assumptions and your will. Whew. Do you see it? It's not about influencing any one script, any one version of people, events, and circumstances. Infinite versions exist within you. And it's always changing, it's always shifting. So you're not changing any free will of any one person or any one script or any one reality. You're moving or shifting to the version of you in that reality that reflects the versions of them, that reflects and projects the versions of others in events, in circumstances that match your assumptions and your will. That's the true meaning that there's no free will. Right? Because the script that person's in can't be changed. That will play out. But there are infinite scripts, there are infinite versions, there are infinite lifelines or alternative parallel realities or versions of people, events in your world. So it's about you, right? It's not about influence others. You shift to that version of you in reality that reflects your version of others, that matches your assumptions, your thoughts, your will. Neville Goddard said this, and this is what I wanted to clear up. We had a big discussion on this with one of you. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him, unless the state affirmed by you to be true of him is a state that he's incapable of wishing as true of another. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and you will receive it. You will receive itself, and it will receive itself in you. So, in other words, it will be rejected by that other person, right? But remember, this is the implication is bigger here. What Neville really is saying here, it's all you. And it doesn't matter. And the subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him because it's your reality. Because it's not that you're impressing his mind. You're not sending thought. There's no other mind. There's no other finite mind of him. There's only one infinite mind, and you're thinking into it. And as you think into it, you create a version of him, an idea of him that matches your assumptions and beliefs about yourself and reality. Do you see it? That's why they can't resist it, because you're creating that version from within you. It's all you. And then it says, if he's incapable of, if that person that you're imagining is incapable of wishing it as true of another, then it returns to you. But again, it's you. That version of them is you, so it's about you. If you are incapable of believing that that version that you created of others is incapable of being that, is incapable of thinking like that, is incapable of assuming like that, then it returns to you because it's all you. I want to show this to you. We're going to really break this down. This is the idea. There's you. There are your assumptions. There's him that Neville was talking about. The subject, reflected and projected version of the other. So, yeah, they can't resist because they're your assumptions. That's your version of the world, your version of events. But remember, it's still you. That version of them is coming from within you. The subject has no power to resist because you're creating your world based on your assumptions. It's still all you. Do you see this? Unless the aversion assumed by you to be him is a version he is incapable of wishing true of another. In other words, you, as he, are incapable of imagining him as that version. That's what that means. You're just incapable of imagining him as that version. So it returns to you. It's all you. That's what Neville meant. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and will realize itself in you. Well, it always does realize itself in you as you. There's nowhere else it can go. It's not returning because it's not going anywhere. It's either you assuming that version of them and believing that they are that version, and assuming that they can assume like that they believe that they believe that's true of them, or you're not, and that will all be reflected in you. In other words, it's always you. It's your convictions about yourself as projected and reflected out into the world. Wow. And if you're not seeing it projected or reflected outside of you, it's because you don't believe it's true of who you are in reality. Right? When you do see it reflected, you do believe it, or you believe it's true, or you believe that it's about you. Right? So as you try to reflect it out, you go, oh, it's really me. That's my reality. It's always about you. What are you wishing as true of yourself and others? Do you see the power here? It's always about you. It's your convictions about yourself as projected and reflected out into the world. It's always reflected out into the world. Right? So whatever you're seeing or not seeing is a reflection of what you believe to be true of yourself, others, in the world. That's law. You see it? So even when you don't see it, as at the point that I was just making, even when you don't see it projected or reflected, you're seeing it projected and reflected as not having that experience, as having another experience. It's law, right? This is powerful. So nothing's sent, nothing's rejected or accepted by the subconscious, nothing's rebounding or bouncing back. She was pointing to the Neville Goddard's teachings about malicious thought, that it bounces back if it's not accepted by them. It's not about them accepting anything. It's about you believing you're malicious. It's all you creating that malicious world, right? Do you see it? It's all you as the center and conscious center of that one divine mind. You choose and assume and imagine and affirm what is true or the truth about you and your reality, past, present, and future. So if you have a malicious thought about you, remember, it's always you. It's not about it bouncing back. It's within you. You see, it's not about others accepting that. It's about you believing that you can create a version of that person that's true of yourself and them. It's all based on your creation, who you are. You created all, past, present, and future. And that determines your perception, your perspective, your viewpoint and vantage point of everything, everywhere, all at once. And what part of all that is and all that you are, you're going to experience here and now. So try it. Know that you're not influencing any one reality, any one script, any one version of them. That based on your assumptions, what you believe is true of yourself and others, that you're thinking into that one divine mind and shifting to that alternative parallel reality, that alternative parallel version of you that creates an alternative parallel version of the events and circumstances and people around you that reflect what you will, what you desire, what you want. In other words, what you believe is true of who you are. Try it. You're going to see it. It changes things immediately, right? You're not influencing that person in front of you. You're thinking into the divine mind. And as you think into it, you align, you resonate with that version of them that matches who you're being. That's powerful. Thought transmission to manifest anything and anyone, anytime. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/BeSomethingWonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, and for being part of our membership channel. We will have an announcement this week, I think, coming up for our live stream to be on the membership channel at the end of the month. I'm going to come to you live to answer your questions and chat with you on the chat, answer your questions live on the chat that you have on a live event at the end of this month, exclusively on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. If you're a member, join us. If you're not a member, check out the link below. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.